Hey, Floss Tube, Stitching Jules here, and I am sick. In fact, I am so sick, this is the second time that I am recording this video because I was so fuzzy-brained when I was trying to do it before that I kept calling Lizzie Kate, Mary Kate, and I messed up a lot of other things when I was watching it back, so the brain's not working so well. But yeah, I've been sick this week. My poor husband was sick with this before I was, and now I have it, and it's no big deal. We share everything, and he's been doing such an awesome job of taking care of me. Most nights this past week, it's just been me coming home from work, crawling into bed, and cross-stitching some, and while he brings me soup and keeps me hydrated. So, but you know, because that I have gotten some cross-stitching done, but there are other developments that I wanted to share with you. As you can see on the wall of FFOs, the Star Wars Darth Vader project has returned. So we got two dueling Vaders here. This particular Vader is going off to a friend. So, but we went ahead and just wanted to throw it up on there anyway. Then we have a couple other projects here. You can see how it's kind of staggered a little off. Part of that's because this project is leaving and we're going to be putting something probably smaller in that place soon. But we wanted to kind of get everything in the studs on the walls and whatnot here. So, but anyway, so the two other ones that we have framed, I've got the Prayer World's Best Wireless Connection up here, and that one is going out to my mom. And I'm super happy with the way that it got framed, and it looks great, and I think she's going to love it. And then this one is the Winnie the Pooh quote, which is, promise me you'll always remember you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think, which is awesome. And that's another Lizzie Kate project that I finally got framed. I think it's my first one that I actually got framed, so I'm super happy about that. Next up I want to show you a finished cross stitch, something that I finished actually a while back that I hadn't shown you yet because I'd forgotten I had it, and as I was going through some stuff looking for things this week, I found it, and I think it's a Lizzie Kate too, but it's housework never killed anyone, but why take a chance? And even though I've kind of messed the borders up a little bit on this one, I still think it's awesome. And it's not going to be any big deal to get framed, so I can frame it myself. So we'll get that done and whatnot. But it's funny because it matches up with this thing I got at a garage sale a few years ago, which it's funny. This thing actually has like a big crack down the middle that's been super glued to hold up, and it's just this eclectic looking thing. But it's just basically I can't clean house and save the world at the same time. So I think these two things will end up hanging together, and that'll be a lot of fun. But so I was going to show you kind of what I had gotten done this week. On my London piece, I finished. I'm going to hold it up at an angle to kind of block the sun out a little bit, but I got another page done. I finished the page here on this London piece, and I'm almost done with the top row here. Only a little bit more to go. Once that's done, the sky is kind of mostly done, then the detail is really going to come out when I get to this second row here, and that's going to be awesome. And so I'm going to keep working on that piece because I just enjoy it so much. It's so much fun, but thankfully the more boring part of it, the less detailed part, is the first part of it. So we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll get to the really interesting stuff. My Lizzie Kate Good Marriage. This is how far I've gotten, which is, you know, I'm going to pull it back. It's roughly about a quarter of the way through. Got a lot of good progress done on that this week. Actually, when I look at this one, I think about how I think it was Sunday when I first started feeling bad, and my husband and I sat down on Netflix and watched and basically just binged the entire last season of How I Met Your Mother. And so we got that done, and count me among those who are disappointed with the way that show ended. It was such an awesome show, and to end the way that it did, let me tell you, if you like that show, there is an alternate ending that is out there that I guess the producers made that they included with the last season DVDs, and you can find it on YouTube, And that is now how I choose to think about how that series ended. And that's how it should have ended. It was really, really, really good. Excuse me. As you can tell, it's all respiratory. That's how I'm sick. You know, it's fever, cough, losing my voice, stuffy headed, you know, I mean, just all that, you know, and it just drains you, you know. But thankfully I can still work on things and get things done, but I just got to go slow. And then I started the Yoda piece. I actually spent the better part of one of my nights just gritting out the top quarter of it, because of the way, and you'll see once I get further along on this that the gritting is actually going to make this go a lot faster. But it's funny, it looks like this funky picture. I think this is like first part of the D for the word do, D-O, but I'd have to go back and look at that and see if that's the case. But so I got that. I just got informed that I actually ordered some fabric. I actually ordered some fabric from Amazon. It's not coming from Amazon. It was coming from a linen company. I'm fuzzy-headed. I don't know what I'm saying, but it was a special cut fabric that I got so that I could restart my Thanksgiving football piece. And so excited to get that back, and that's supposed to be coming in today. And I may very well get started on that. So before I show you anything else, so what I want to do this week is I want to continue work on Yoda, and I want to get back started on my gigantic cross stitch, the old world map, and continue working on the next page on that, because every page takes me at least 3 weeks to do. So I have to, you know, I've got to get back on that next page. My goal was actually that I would do a page a month this year, and then if I finished a page early, you know, like if I finish, like March has 31 days, so if I finish that page 23 days in the last 8 days, I could spend doing something else. But with starting Floss Tube and watching a lot of Floss Tube, it's gotten me so inspired to branch out and try some other things and get back to work on some older projects of mine that I've kind of not done anything the last 3-4 weeks on the old world map. So it's time to get back on that so I can continue making progress, because that will take me probably the rest of my life to finish. All right, so some new stuff, not really new stuff, but stuff that I haven't shown you yet. As I was kind of going through my projects and I'm looking and cleaning and doing things, I found, it's funny, so back when I was doing a bunch of, we all go through these phases where I watch Floss Tube, and it seems like most people, when they get into a buying binge, they buy fabric. Some of them buy kits, some of them buy patterns and whatnot. But what I do when I get into a binge is I usually buy patterns online, and I kit them out myself. But I went through a phase some years back where I think it was on Cross Stitch Collectibles. I love their patterns, and I would buy like 5 or 6 patterns every end of the year when they were having their sales. Excuse me, my voice is going a lot worse. So when I did that, I was kitting out all those different, at first I was kitting out all those projects, and then it became kind of burdensome to do that, and I've consolidated since then. But in the process of kitting them out back then, I realized I kept going and buying the thread bobbins, or the floss bobbins, the little plastic ones, and I kept having to go buy more. Finally I was just like, let me just go on Amazon, let me just find a stash of them and buy them. So I've actually, let me show you the bag. So I have a bag of all these individual floss bobbins, as you can see, that are put together like that. This bag was actually full at one point, and I have kind of worked my way down on it, and I thought I would never use them all, but I'll probably use them all before I stop cross stitching. So that was kind of funny. Now another thing that I found while I was going through stuff is I found my Lizzie Kate Cat Lessons for People, and so I'll read that to you in my amazing, awesome voice, because people seem to want me to read when I show my patterns. And so, excuse me. Cat Lessons for People. Be persnickety. Play with your food. Appreciate wildlife. Nap every day. Don't bite when a hiss will do. Practice patience. Listen before speaking. when you make a mess, bury it and sit very close to those you love. So I have the dog lessons one, and I would like to get both of those done at some point. They're just so adorable. But this is kit number 142. And so anyway, so I found it and I was like, yay! Because part of this past week, part of the stress involved with it was over the weekend is that our cat got sick. We had to take it in to get checked out, and thankfully it wasn't anything too serious, but I was doing some treatment for him and he's feeling better. But it was kind of a scare for us. I mean, I've told you before, we actually have 6 dogs and a cat. Cat stays upstairs in a secluded area. The dogs usually get the run of the rest of the house. On Thursdays when I shoot my videos, I actually put them up because I wouldn't be able to finish a video with them around, because they would come over and they would knock my stand down that I have for my phone, and they'd be jumping in my lap and they'd be barking and doing stuff, and it's just impossible for me to get things done sometimes when they're all running around. So they're all up taking a nap right now, and so, which is good for me. Let's get this done. The last bit of things that I found, and I've shown you this before, this is my Eric Michaels project, and I kitted this out a week ago, I think, when I went to the stitching shop here in Denver. I kitted it out, and I got my linen cut, and I got my threads and everything, and I came home, and I'm just like, I want to start this piece. And I didn't have the pattern. I thought I had it included in here, and I didn't. And I knew I had it somewhere. I would never have thrown that out, because I always, I've had this for years, and I knew I would do it someday. And I was looking for some stuff. We're doing taxes today, and later today. And so I found, when I was looking for stuff with taxes, I found the pattern for it. So woohoo! I'm happy about that. So I don't know. I might throw in starting this one as well this week. We'll see how I feel. And last but not least, there are so many awesome cross stitchers out there on Floss Tube, and I'm learning so much from everybody. I'm seeing so many new things that I never looked at before because I didn't look at certain sites and whatnot, and I'm really starting to expand what I'm looking for. But one of the things that I didn't know about, and one of the things that I never had, was needle minders. I just never had them, and my husband can tell you I lose needles left and right. There is a lazy boy upstairs that in what used to be the craft room, which is now the cat room, but I had a lazy boy, and I used to stick needles in the arm of the lazy boy next to me when I was changing threads and whatnot. And that lazy boy probably has at least a dozen really nice needles embedded in the arm, because I would hit him or do something and then they would be lost inside the arm. And so my husband can tell you, when I told him about needle minders, he was like, why don't you have any? And so I went ahead and got some, and they came in this week. I'm going to show you. I bought them off of Etsy, and you guys, I know you guys know these people, but a needle runs through it. Yeah, needle runs through it, and that's the bee one. And the bee with the honeycomb. And I got that one because of the fact that my husband is a beekeeper, and he has a bunch of hives, and that one was personal and meant something to us. So I also got the standard I Love cross stitch, which I can take with me, I think, whenever I travel, but I'll just use it on, I think, some of my bigger projects. And then lastly, because I like medical type stuff, I got this. There you go. If you can kind of, hopefully you can see it. Can you see it really close? Show it? Nope. Sorry about that. But it's basically sort of like an anatomical drawing of the hand. And that's from the cottage needle. And but I love it. It's awesome. The reason why I got this one also was because I went through a bout of carpal tunnel syndrome. I had carpal tunnel about 3 years ago. I had it so bad that I had sort of a consistent tingling in my hands and a dullness, a heaviness to them as well. And when I went in to have the, they do this test where they put like electrical nodes and stuff in your hand and whatnot, and they test like how fast your nerve impulses go to your fingers and whatnot. And mine was like so severely dysfunctional that they're like, we got to get you in right away and get this taken care of. So I'll show you my scars. So I had this one done. I had my right hand done first. I can't show it. Just a little scar left. It healed up really nicely. So they went in right there and took care of that one. And then my scar on this side, just that little one right there. So, and the reason why I bring it up is because a lot of my friends and even the doctor to some extent was wondering if my cross stitching was partly to blame for that. And I really didn't think so, and I still don't think so. I'm a big home improvement person. I do a lot with my hands. Everything, like every surface of my house, I have painted myself. Sometimes I've painted it twice. And the winter before I had the surgery, I renovated my master bathroom. This was all before I got married and my husband moved in, but or even before I met my husband, and because otherwise I think he would have been doing all that. He would have wanted to do that. But I renovated my bathroom, and there was a lot of tile work and drywall and everything. And I would work on that, and then my hands would be numb for like 2 days, and I have to wait until I got the feeling back, and then I could go again. So I don't think it was cross stitching. At least, I really don't think so. I mean, I'm not using a lot of this back and forth with the way my technique. I would really be observant of that to make sure that I wasn't doing that. And now, since the surgery, well, now lately, since I've been talking about it with some people, but I'm doing the two-handed stitching method, so that's actually even less stressful on my hands, even though I don't really feel like cross-stitching is that stressful. I'm so scatterbrained at times and ADD and shiny object that, I don't sit and stitch for like a solid 20 minutes. I mean, if I can stitch for a solid 5 minutes without having to look up and do something or talk to a dog or do this or that, then I'm lucky. But I don't sit there and constantly over and over and over again, do that. But I don't think it was the cross stitching, and so and maybe for you it might be. It's hard to say, but I will tell you that if you have carpal tunnel and you have nerve dysfunction, I would say get the surgery done as soon as you can, so that your recovery is as quick as possible and everything goes back to fairly normal. After the surgery was done, at 2 weeks, my hand felt like, when you're like outside and your hand gets super, super cold, and then you come back inside and you can't quite feel it. It's a little numb, and it feels thick and heavy, and you touch it and it doesn't feel right. That's how my hands were for about 2 weeks after the surgery. And the neurosurgeon basically said that it was part of just my nerves kind of regenerating and the nerve impulses trying to come through and not fully coming through again. So if you need carpal tunnel, do it sooner than later, because then you can get back to all your cross stitching. And I will say that, don't tell my doctor, but I had this hand done first, the right hand first, and then 10 days later I had the left hand done, and I only had bandages on my hands for a few days, and then I was able to take them off. And as soon as I had the bandages off, I think even with the bandages on, I was cross stitching. You just don't you can cross stitch without bending your wrists. So that's what I would do, because I needed something to do to keep me occupied. So anyway, that's easily my longest video. But I'm sick and I can't think straight, so I'm not terribly efficient today. But I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun stitching. Hopefully the next time I see you, I will be 100% healthy again. And but if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to put those down below the video. And have a great rest of your day. Take care.